You want the truth? Well, here's the wicked truth.
Stank, let's talk to Bone about something serious now, man.
Yes.
Bone.
Yay.
The people out here, as I was saying before, this guy came in.
Right.
You were at the studio.
Which is still a surprise. Okay,
that's right. Okay. You were at the studio, and I came in.
Yeah.
And you told me, you looked me in my face. You said, "Wicked." You said, "I'm fixing to blow up." Now I don't know if you remember that. You said, "I have a song.
Yep.
It's fixing to be the #1 song in the country."
Yep.
You told me that.
Yeah.
And then me back then, I was drinking, smoking a little bit, doing my thing. I said, yeah, Bone, I believe you.
Right.
Just like everybody say.
Right.
Bone, tell me a little bit about how, because you know how I feel about that song. I don't hide it.
Right.
At the birthday bash, man, I think this was like last year.
Right.
Oh my God, it was like legendary. I posted on all my social media sites.
Right.
I mean, you came out there and you killed it.
Right.
Tell the people a little bit, man, and then we're gonna get into T.I. Killer Mike a little bit later.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that? How did that song take place, brother?
I tell you something wicked, man. Back then I was telling everybody that song was about to blow up. Okay. I actually played that song in that room, in the break room at Patchwork for a few people. And everybody was kind of looking at me like, I don't know, that's crazy. Like back then it was kind of weird to have singing and rapping on a song like that.
Right.
With all that energy. They didn't understand it. But I knew at that point that record was going to blow. But that record came about because, at the time I was going through a lot. Okay. I was in a really bad space.
Right.
And,
You're from Summerhill, right? Correct?
No, I'm from Adamsville.
You're from Adamsville, correction.
Yeah, I'm from Adamsville. So, I had some babies and them babies needed to eat, and I was going through something, and I was sitting on the side on my porch back then, and I had to decide whether I was going to rob somebody or I was going to keep rapping.
Right.
Or go get a job. So either way, something had to happen.
Exactly.
And a good friend of mine called me, Avery Johnson, who did the beat for Neva Scared.
Okay.
And he told me to come down there, man. He said, man, I got this beat, man.
Now, and I don't mean to cut you off. We're going to start back up. Was this your first brush with the entertainment industry at this particular point?
Nah.
Or were there prior, small victories before leading up to this?
Yeah. I wrote on T.I.'s first album, and I wrote on the remix of Getting It for Too Short.
Okay.
And I worked with Outkast and Young Bloods and Organized Noise.
Okay.
And I worked with everybody that was back then.
So at this particular point, when you got the call from Avery, you had done small things, but you wasn't the bone crusher that we love and know today. Quite yet.
No. I mean, the people that know me, back in the day, people knew Bone Crusher. I was bodyguard too, so
correct.
Yeah. So I was doing that too, but didn't nobody know me back then except for that.
Right.
I was kind of famous around here, but
not
in the world. Didn't nobody know me, but Avery had called me. Was like, "Yo, Bone, I got this record." So I went down there, and he stayed like 3 houses from me. So I didn't even have to go jump in a car, try to catch a bus or nothing. I rode the bus too back then, brother. Actually,
I think we all did.
I rode the bus back then too.
See what I'm saying? So that's why we, that's why he
don't like you.
Man, he said he rode the bus.
He don't like, just because he rode a bus and you rode a bus, that's not a chemistry, bro.
But it kind of correlate. Okay.
Go ahead, Bone.
Yeah. But the whole thing about it is that so I went down and I heard the beat, and I had already had the hook in my head, so I just wrote the hook to it.
Oh.
And I did it. When I did it, I was like, yo, this shit's crazy. That shit's crazy. So I sat down and listened to it again. And I knew it was a record. I knew it was a monster when it never got old to me.
Okay.
I'm a real serious critic of my own stuff.
Right, you are.
So I'm like, as I kept hearing it, I was like, yo, this record ain't never getting old.
Right.
And it's like never getting old. And I would play it for people.
Now, and sorry to cut you off, but they had at this point when you're playing this record, had Tip and Killer Mike come about on the record yet? Or just strictly you?
Yeah, no, I did it. I did the record, and then I called Killer. Killer came and did his verse. And then I called Tip, And I told Tip, I said, man, I got this record. At the time, it was Bodyguard and Tip.
Oh, so that's how you kind of met Tip.
Yeah.
See, a lot of people don't know that.
Right.
You know, a lot of people now at this particular point when you were Bodyguard Tip, was Tip famous yet?
Yeah, he was locally famous.
Okay.
And, you know, he had to break it out with Beanie Man. He had that record.
Okay.
Then he started he had his deal and everything with Arista.
Okay.
And the whole thing about it was like, I was like, yo, man, I got this record, man. Just come fuck with me. And he was like, cool, nigga, I'm coming. So back then we hung real. Everybody hung tight back then.
Okay.
John, Banner, myself, the East Side Boys, Yin Yang, everybody kind of hung.
Okay. Shout out to Kane, man.
Yeah, Kane and D-Rock.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the whole thing about it is that we all kind of hung out back then. So it wasn't nothing to get on anybody's records. And that's kind of how the movement really kind of got, you know, it started like that. But back to the record. I was on a tangent. But back to the record. Yeah, man, so Tip came and got on the record. And as a matter of fact, he didn't stay that far from Avery. Him and Mac Boney, his auntie used to own like a little beauty shop right on Austell Road. Not Austell Road, Spring Road, right in Marietta.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, Tip, man, they had a little studio in the back. I was like, Tip, man, come fuck with me on this record. So he came down and he heard the record. He was like, kind of listened to him about 5 minutes. Man, I got something.
I got something.
He went in there and knocked it out, and he killed it.
And let me say something, Bone. That verse that Tip did.
Yeah, it's crazy.
One of the all-time greatest verses that ever came out of Atlanta. And as a matter of fact, all y'all.
Yeah.
The remix, this song was so great, man. For the people out there, for the younger people, Google Bone Crusher, I Ain't Never Scared. You know, it's a legendary song here. Most people are already gonna know it. But for the younger people, Google that, listen to this song. The song was so bad that it got remixed like 50 times. I mean, Busta Bus. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, all y'all did, but Busta Bus, man. I had to listen to Busta Bus verse maybe right at 1,000,000 times, man.
Stupid.
Yeah. but now let's go back to the record. Okay.
Right.
You guys have done the record.
Yep.
How did you guys decide you know, who was gonna go first, who was gonna go second, who was gonna go third? Because I think that the order of the record was just as important as the record itself. You at the beginning of the record, you set the tone for the record,
right?
You know, and people hadn't really heard. You had maybe you know, you had Pastor Troy's out and different little things, but your voice and your style was so like militant, and that's how we viewed it in Decatur.
Right,
it was like a soldier's anthem. How did y'all decide who went first, who went second, or did y'all not even think about it?
Nah, we didn't think about it. I mean, back then it was all about the groove, all about the whatever it was, and then the whole thing is that me and I had already did my first verse anyway. And the reason on that record. It's 6 minutes long, but it don't feel like it.
It doesn't,
because me and Killer did 8 bars, and Tip did 16 or 18 bars.
Wow. Okay.
So, and at the end, it's all, you know, it don't feel like it. Like, I know what I'm saying, like the song was so long, I was like, yo, this song, it don't feel like it's long like that.
It doesn't at all. I mean, they would play this song, man, the whole version.
Right.
Then they'll rewind it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come right back in with the remix. So we would have 10, 15 minutes of just strictly Bone Crack, and you could not still get enough of it.
Yeah, man.
You know, like I say, man, I go on record, man. It's one of my all-time favorites, and not just all-time favorite songs from Atlanta,
right?
But it's one of my all-time favorite songs in the history of music. It's great music.
That means a lot coming from
you. And it is. It's great music. Some people, you know, records only kind of transcend the genre which they're in.
Yeah.
You know, but this is a song that crossed over all boundaries, brother.
Yeah.
And we thank you for the song. Stack, talk to him about a few other things, man.
You know, I just wanted to ask him about, like, in this song when it peaked at 11 on the U.S. charts and #1 on the U.S. R&B charts. When a song hits #1 on those charts, I mean, it's enough to say, okay, you know, hey, we rap and we got songs there about 11. But when that thing hit 11 and #1, I'm just trying to figure, like, what happened? Was there a pivotal moment that let you know, man, I'm here?
I made it.
I mean, because you don't get on the charts
not yet
like that, you know.
Not
like,
yet.
Yeah.
I mean, even JD, because JD had blew it up, and because my album debuted #1.
Yeah.
And JD blew it up, and he was like, "Yo, man, look, your album #1." I said, "Man, yeah."
It didn't feel like #1 to you, Bone?
I ain't finished.
Wow.
You ain't finished.
Okay.
No, I still ain't finished to this day.
Right.
Like, you know, we
Wow.
steady moving. Like I didn't do it for admiration.
Okay.
I did it for love of music.
For the love of music.
I mean, the whole thing we did was for the love of music. All that whole thing was it was a beautiful
how
time.
Does it feel? You have a lot of people out here, Bone, that will never. It's 1% of people that will ever live a #1 record in the country.
Right.
To this day, I have never had a #1 record in the country. How does that feel, man?
And I don't even have a record nowhere in the. Oh,
Stick.
I'm just trying to say.
You'll never get a record with those lyrics.
Nowhere in the country. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying. You know.
You will never get.
I inbox you. Don't worry about it. Go ahead. I inbox you.
It's all good.
How does that feel, man? To have a #1 record in the world, Bone,
Right.
you know, for people that can't even get on out here, you know, what does that feel like?
It felt good to pay bills.
Okay.
It felt good. It felt good to you know.
Yeah.
It felt good to be able to go and buy what I wanted
Right.
and not worry about what I wanted.
Yeah, because we heard you got like a couple of $1 million.
All right, man. Anybody got no money?
You want the truth? Well, here's the wicked truth.